Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks, and I'm going to attempt to show you how to draw this. I actually got this idea from somebody else's video, but he doesn't talk. And so if you will take when you pause the video and look at this when you're doing this, this is the shape you need to make this. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a 2-point line and just draw a line, and then open your Docker under Windows Docker's transform and go right here to position. And we're going to make the first one copy, 1/4 of an inch. Change that to 0.2, make a copy. Change that to 0.45, make a copy. Change that to 0.25 or 0.2 because you're just doing the opposite. And then 0.25 and make one copy. Now, let's zoom in here a little bit. Let's go ahead and close this Docker. If you'll take this and Control G to group it, and then rotate it. I'm rotating 115 degrees. Whoop, I didn't make a copy of it. Control D, and then rotate it 115, 110 will work, anywhere. And you've got this shape. So if you will just kind of follow along, what we're trying to do is make this box. So first of all, what I'm going to do, we don't need the outside. So I'm going to draw a rectangle around it. I'm going to take the virtual segment delete key and delete this so we don't have such long of lines. And then you can delete your box. And then just kind of bring this in as a reference, because I've only done this a couple times and it's a little confusing, but if you'll take a 2-point line and go from this bigger box and go straight down to that node, and then skip that box and go to the next box. Now, the other ones aren't the same angle, or they're the same angle, but they're not the same distance. So I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, and I'm going to grab it with the 4-point, and I'm going to go right there. Then I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, and I'm going to go right there. And then I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, and you've got to go if you imagine that this is the box, you got to go there. It would almost be easier if you would go ahead and make the top of your box like this, and then that way you could see where that angle needs to go. I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard, grab the 4-point and put it right there. And if you notice, and I'm off a little bit, if you notice, it kind of breaks that angle. And then just take your virtual segment delete key and delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that line, go ahead and delete that line. And then what you need to do is delete that line, delete that line, that line, that line, that line, and that line. Now you have what we need. Now I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how big this thing is. It's under 4 inches, so we're going to make our nudge factor 4 inches. We're going to take our Smart Fill tool, and it doesn't matter what color. You could do it in several colors, but we want all these parts. Now, you could leave the lines or take the lines away. I'm going to take the lines away, but we still got those parts. Then, if you'll kind of do what I did, and I didn't do a great job of figuring out shading, but let's zoom in. We need this lower section, so let's grab that lower section. Let's get the interactive fill tool, and let's go just straight down and then grab a darker color and put it at the bottom. And then maybe bring your sidebar where it's kind of even. Now, it's a shame that the attribute eyedropper doesn't work in this case because we're coming at different angles. Then get off that piece and grab that piece, which is I'm grabbing this piece, and use your interactive fill tool and come from here down. Now this is where you can kind of play around with your colors and your slide bar, and we're actually going to take a little bit darker gray and put it here, but that's really too close to the original color. Let's slide it down. Let's change this to a real light gray up top. There we go. Now we need to take the top, which is the square, and we're just going to make it white. Now take this inside one, use your interactive fill tool, and just, that doesn't really need too much. You could play around with it quite a bit. Call that good. Grab the other one. The other one needs to be a little darker, so we're going to grab the interactive fill tool, and then we're going to go down, and now we're going to add a dark to the bottom, kind of giving it the look that it's a shadow effect. That'll work. Now group all this together, Control G. Now there's several ways you can do this. Let's take this object and let's put an outline around it. So I'm going to right click an outline and let's measure from that point. Get your parallel dimension tool, change it to quite a few decibels, and go from there to that node. And we have 1 point, let me just click off it, but 1.2137. While that's up on the screen, go 1.2137. Take this away. Control D and make a duplicate and nudge it over. And then just nudge it over as many times as you want. And I'm hoping my mathematical guru will chime in here on how you could do it the other way. And there's a way, but you'd have to really think about it and change some things. So I'm going to Control G and Control D, make a duplicate. Now, it doesn't snap to like you would think it would, because if you zoom in, you're really not there. But if you grab that X and have it snap to, and then Control D, well, Control D again, and because you've had to move it, it's not going to Control D unless you did it right the first time. Now, what's so cool about this, let me move all this away. You can group this together, Control G, and you've got that shape, or you can double click on it and completely change the look, you know, what it's doing. Might not look as cool, but it's elongated. I kind of like that. And, you know, you can, what we could do now is I would have made it, should have made it a little bit bigger. Take your rectangle tool and go from that node, try to go straight down to like that node and then across to the bottom node, maybe like right there. And I have these grouped together. So now I can use the intersect tool to intersect. And now we have that pattern kind of in a block. Now I missed that corner right there. So it's a little bit off, but I did the bottom right. So I needed to move my rectangle over just a little bit. We can do it. And what's so nice about it, you still have it. So we could do it again. And you don't have to be, you know, perfect, but let's go from about right there, you know, down to the bottom and then over, making sure you've got it all. Use the intersect tool again. Intersect tool is pretty cool because it'll give you that shape. And it looks like they're stacked up little chimneys or boxes. Pretty cool idea. And so instead of skewing it, we can also take this and just rotate it and get a total different look. Let's just rotate it. I mean, look at that. I can imagine if you use some really neat colors and you could, you know, almost rotate it where it was perpendicular lines this way. Let's bring in an indexing line. And this is one way you can do things. See, I've got it right there at the corner, so it needs to go right through these lines. So we're going to double click on it and move our center rotation to that point. And then you can rotate it where those lines, and you could actually get really close and rotate it to there. It should snap right to it. I'm pretty close. I can't really see. But if you get right there, well, it should. Well, if you draw a line, it might snap to it, but I'm on it now. So take away our line. And this is the edge of the page, so it's kind of getting in the way. But then you could do things like I did here where I drew a box around it and give it like their little bitty chimney sitting in a box or something. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, little fun project. So this is the key right here. And just, do that and start deleting some lines until you have this shape. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.